Hi, folks. Let's get started. In the high-yield world of private credit, we've got some very significant large companies in this space. And Blue Owl Capital Corporation, ticker symbol OBDC, is one of those companies. Now, it's got scale with over $16 billion in assets and has had a steady 10% dividend yield that has kept passive income investors happy for a period of time. Now, to the average investor, checking a stock screener OBDC looks like a fortress. But if you're still relying on just surface level metrics, you may be missing out on some structural shifts. When institutional credit markets start experiencing some uncertainty, you don't want to just cross your fingers and hope for the best. Instead, you pull the regulatory filings. So let's take a look at this right here. This is where we're generating our information from, the official SEC.gov Edgar website with the ticker symbol OBDC. We hit search, and as we scroll down here, we can see the 10K report, and this is for the period. If we look up top here, reporting 4, we're going to take a look at 12/31 of 2025, and that's the period ending for the annual report. And so with the BDC Navigator Edgar scorecard, we're going to be tracking their net asset value. We're going to calculate their cash income ratios and take a look at some portfolio exposure. Is the market overreacting, creating a generational buying opportunity for a 10% yield, or is OBDC beginning to display the textbook warning signs of a dividend cut cycle? Let's take a look at the scorecard. We begin with category number 1 of our scorecard, NAV and returns. We're at 25 points. The net asset value per share is a very good indicator of a BDC's true health. And when we audit the OBDC official financials, we encounter our first speed bump. The current NAV is $14.81. A year ago, it was $15.14. And 3 years ago, it was $15.36. So over a 3-year period, Blue Owl's net asset value has been in a slow and steady decline, and management has indicated that one reason for this drop was driven partly by credit-related markdowns on selected number of underperforming portfolio names. Because their NAV trend is strictly declining, our scorecard strips them down to just 5 of the 15 points for asset trajectory. We combine that with a multi-year return profile that has lagged behind internally managed peers. OBDC pulls in just 10 of the 25 points for pillar number 1. But can they at least defend the current dividend payout? Let's check category number 2, dividend safety. That's worth 25 points. Now, OBDC reported a final GAAP net investment income of 38 cents a share for the final quarter, while they paid out a baseline regular dividend of 37 cents a share. Okay, so they covered it. And when we annualize those figures, we get an annual net investment income of $1.52 against a regular dividend base of $1.48. That gives the regular dividend coverage ratio of 1.03x. Now, according to our scorecard instructions, a coverage ratio between 1.0x and 1.1 earns 10 out of 15 points. So while the core payout is technically covered, the margin is pretty thin. And so something that could happen, their interest income could drop, their interest rates could change, and if those things kind of happen, then we could begin to see some problems covering that dividends. And so as a result, we gave them 18 out of 25 points for the dividend safety. Okay, pillar number 3. We're going to take a look at PIK income and credit quality. That's worth 20 points. So when a BDC cannot collect cash from its struggling borrowers, they allow them to pay interest in kind, meaning more paper debt notes, for example. The BDC records it as income, but zero cash actually came into the bank vault. And when we parse the line items for OBDC's full income statements, the non-cash interest engine becomes highly apparent. Their total PIK component represents roughly 6.8% of gross investment income. But because of their higher operational overhead and externally management fees, when you measure that paper income against what's actually left over for shareholders, The PIK income comprises a stark 11.2% of their total net investment income. Now look closer at the scorecard rules. If a BDC's PIK percentage of NII creeps between 10 and 20%, its score in this subcategory immediately drops from 5 points down to 3 due to low earnings quality. Next, we take a look at non-accruals. And Blue Owl reported non-accruals sitting at about 1.1% at fair value. A non-accrual rate between 0.5 and 1.5% lands them about 8 out of 10 points on credit health. However, note that their non-accruals are at cost are significantly higher at 2.3%, meaning they have written down the value of some of those bad loans. Now, after accounting for moderate realized losses adjustments, OBDC exits the credit quality chamber with a heavily impacted score of 14 out of 20 points. We'll scroll down here a little bit further and get into our next category. This brings us to pillar number 4, leverage and risk. That's worth 15 points. Their regulatory net debt-to-equity ratio came in at 1.19x at the end of the period. Now, under our 100-point framework, any D/E ratio that breaches the 1.0x threshold stays below 1.2x, does not earn a perfect score, and so we're going to give them 8 out of 10 points. Now, on the liquidity front, they scored a 4 out of 5. They maintain an institutional-sized $4.0 billion revolving credit facility, but their weighted average debt maturity has tightened to about 4.3 years, and this indicates that they may be facing higher refinancing costs in their midterm credit windows. Total score for pillar number 4 is 12 out of 15 points. Finally, pillar number 5, portfolio and fees, that's worth 15 points. So for first lien concentration, OBDC reported that first lien senior secured debt made up about 73.1% of their total portfolio mix. Our scorecard requires a baseline of greater than 75% to secure full points. Now, because they fell short, they received 3 out of the 5 points. They're heavily insulated against sudden benchmark rate movements, with a 96.4% of their debt instruments structured on floating rates, easily passing the greater than 85% target for a perfect 5 out of 5 points. Now, next is management fees. And this is where the structural friction begins to show up. Unlike internally managed BDCs, OBDC is an externally managed company by Blue Owl Credit Advisors. And they carry, higher management fees and incentive layers that take a charge out of the gross income. It's another cost before the retail investors have access to their dividend. And so given this, they score a low 2 out of 5 for shareholder friendliness, and a total score on the pillar 5 of 10 out of 15 points. Now we're going to take a look at our critical overrides. So before we calculate the final raw score, we are mathematically obligated to run our data points against the critical red flag overrides on page 2 of the scorecard. If the BDC triggers even one of these, its underlying safety tier can be compromised regardless of the final numerical grade. So let's take a look at OBDC. And the non-accruals rising 2 quarters in a row, they passed. Actually, the non-accruals saw a minor drop from 1.3 to 1.1% at fair value towards the end of the year. The NAV drops greater than 5% in a single quarter, they passed that too. While their NAV dropped, it was contained at about 0.5% for the final quarter. Dividend coverage, less than 1x. They passed that too. Their coverage sits at a tight but a positive 1.03x against their regular baseline. Dilution. The Blue Owl actually executed a massive, accretive $148 million share repurchase program at about 86% of book value, which actually that protected the shareholders from dilution. And leverage, the debt to equity, rising year over year. Well, they passed that as well. The debt to equity compressed slightly from earlier than peak levels. PIK intensity, greater than 20% of NII, they passed that as well. Their total PIK intensity came in at 11.2%. While it represents a weak quality of earnings, it did not cross over that 20% danger line. Now, when we compile every single data point from the official SEC EDGAR system and tally up the figures, Blue Owl Capital Corporation finishes with a final score of about 64 out of 100 points. This is kind of an eye-opening reality check for the passive income investors. While the surface level yield of 10% looks really good for the dividend, the underlying engine is showing that there's beginning to have some strain. The combination of a multi-year declining net asset value, a thin 1.03 regular dividend coverage window, and elevated debt-to-equity leverage, in addition to a rising non-cash PIK, means that this dividend has very, very little room for error. So we got to pay attention to like macro interest rates. Could they compress further throughout the rest of the year? If they do, OBDC's external fee structure and tight coverage margins mean that special dividends may not be available, and its regular dividend-based payout is going to face some pressure. And with that said, if you choose to hold on to OBDC for its double-digit yield, you may want to treat this as a bit of a speculative position. Monitor their upcoming quarterly 10Q filings. Now, we're not licensed investment advisors. We're strictly doing our own research. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Before making any decisions, speak to a licensed investment advisor. And that being said, if you choose to hold on or buy or sell OBDC for its double-digit yield, you may want to look at this as a bit of a speculative position. Monitor their upcoming quarterly 10Q filings and specifically watching the PIK percentage of NII to see if it breaks above that 15% mark. Now, if you want to download a clean printable copy of the BDC Navigator EDGAR scorecard, it's down in the section below. Leave a comment. If you have a question, go ahead and ask. Are you risking your capital with OBDC, or are you moving your cash to a higher scoring internally managed BDC? Let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, click the like button to help support the channel, and I'll see you on the very next deep dive. Stay disciplined, consider protecting your capital, and building wealth in the long term.